So if you've ever struggled with the consistency of your ball strike, you know, you strike the ground 1 minute behind the ball or you thin the ball the next, one of the things you must know by now, that if you've played golf long enough, that to strike a great shot off the ground, you need to make sure that you've got a decent amount of shaft lean at the moment of impact here, leaning forward, not leaning backwards. This will cause you fats. You need your weight over onto this left side. You need this kind of hip open up. Most people know this, but they're still struggling. Now, the reason why I see so many golfers struggling is because they're trying too hard to force this position when it should be happening naturally. In this video, I want to share with you a simple process on how you can make this happen much easier than you realize. Now, before I get into the lesson, if you're new to the channel, it's one of your first videos of mine, please consider subscribing. Just press that little bell button, next subscribe button, you get notified every time I release a video just like this one. Plus, you won't have to remember a thing. I'll always put a free downloadable practice guide in the description box below. Great, so the purpose of this session is to get you striking your shots. And we know now we've got to get this shaft lean here, we've got to get this pressure over here and get you in a great place, but do it naturally. The first stage in this process is you need to get into a great position at the top. Now, the way to do this is you've got to get the wrists naturally cocking and flexing all the way to the top of the backswing here. The simplest way to imagine this is I'll give you a couple of ways. Imagine you have a dumbbell in your hand here, and all you're going to do is lift the dumbbell and literally lift it and hold it above here. Now, if this was a dumbbell in my hand here, I'm lifting the dumbbell up, and that part, the butt end here is pointing over there, the club head is pointing over here, and I've got a great amount of support here in my backswing. Okay, very, very important. If it was my left hand here, my lead hand, what I'm doing is I'm making sure I'm constantly setting the wrist here, look. So this butt is moving away from me, now pointing at you. This is very important. I am using wrist set, okay? Wrist set, this is vitally important. This is the first mistake I see. I don't see golfers doing this enough. What I see golfers doing is they don't set their wrists. What they do is they set their elbows. So what they're doing is either they trail elbow drifts behind them to get the club behind, or their lead elbow bends to get the club behind them. When you do this, when from here, you're not in a position to get that shaft lean. What's going to happen from here is you're going to throw the head very quickly and you're going to be in this position straight away. It's almost impossible to get shaft lean. Another great way of looking at this is if this was me pulling an arrow out of my quiver. If I was, imagine the archery guys. If I was kind of pulling an arrow out of my quiver here, notice this. I would have to get my wrist set to pull the arrow out. And what do you notice straight away? I've already got the angle set, which I'm now, going to be able to use on the way down to get that compression. So there's the first stage. Make sure that you're using a progressive wrist set. Okay, one thing just to watch out for with this lead wrist, so I've seen this a little bit. When you take this back, okay, a lot of people try to bend their wrist this way. Don't get the cap. All we're doing is keep this nice and flat as you're doing it. Just bend the wrist here and try to get that butt as far away as you can. If your flexibility will not allow the club to go back here, doesn't matter. Don't stop, don't cheat by bending here. That's your full backswing position. Once you've got that set, now you're in a great place to work on stage 2. Stage number 2, so once you've got those wrist angles in place, you're ready to pull the arrow out of the quiver, you've now got all the angles you need, I want you to let them go. Yes, let them go. Don't hang on to them, actually let them go. This is the biggest misinterpretation people get. They're trying so hard to hang on to those angles, you've got no speed there, yeah? We need to let them go. What's gonna make sure that you don't end up like this is correct body motion. So there's 2 little things in here. I want you to first of all get the sensation, whether it's the quiver out of the arrow out of the quiver or whether it's a dumbbell exercise, get the sensation here that you're gonna literally release those angles. Let them just fall down, let gravity fall down to the ground. That's the first thing I want you to feel in your swing. Whether it's the dumbbell exercise here, put a weight in your hand here, I'm supporting it and then look, I'm gonna let it fall down, whatever it is. But what's going to help you not just let the gravity fall down, but fall down in the right way so you end up here, is the way you move the body. If my body doesn't move and I stay back here, which a lot of people do, and then I let the gravity fall, yes, by the time it gets to impact, I am going to be here. But if I move my body in such a way when I'm letting the gravity fall, now look, the shaft lean will happen and I'll strike the ball perfectly, okay? Here's how I want you to play with this. This is your dumbbell. Lift the dumbbell up. Now this is how the body's going to work. I'm going to let, look, the gravity fall here. But as that gravity's falling, I am going to literally, my hands here, I'm going to move the dumbbell or the path here, my hand path left here, and that allows the gravity to fall and the club face, look, to square up. What I'm doing is I'm not driving my body one way, that's going to leave the face wide open. I'm not static, which is going to get me flicking. I am literally blending, look, the falling of the club and the uncocking or releasing of the club with, look, a bit of control. This is a little secret. What we're doing here is we're literally letting it fall and we're picking it up, look, with correct hand path motion through the impact area here. But I'm never trying to hold those angles. I'm just got correct body motions that make sure they happen. If you do this, then achieving great solid strikes is so much easier to achieve, okay? Now, one final thing, okay? You see that beautiful ball turf strike there. One final thing that could prevent this from working is just your setup. So once you've got those two things in place, this is very, really important. It needs to really be put in first, but I left it till last, okay? Setup. Make sure when you're hitting a ball off the ground that your pressure or weight here is very evenly distributed. Sometimes favor that lead side. What I don't want you to do is have a shoulder tilt that's over here or your weight back. I see this a lot. If you think of it here, if you set up too far behind the ball here with too much weight here, when you let that club go, that's going to get you potentially flicking. If our pressure's already over the ball here like this, it's a lot easier to stay over that golf ball. So then when I do let gravity fall and I move out of the way, I'm more likely to get that kind of shaft lean, all right? So three things. Get the sets of those wrists there, both trail hand and lead hand. Pull that arrow out of the quiver, let gravity fall. Use a dumbbell exercise here, get the hand path working left of target. This means that the body now will direct the gravity of this club in the correct way to get shaft lean and square up the club face at exactly the same time. Marry that up with a great setup position where you're more even, you're not back here, you're right over the top of the ball, and you'll be there and ready to start striking yours irons or any ball off the ground absolutely spot on, okay? So I hope you enjoy this video. If you want to see actually a live lesson of me going through this dumbbell with an actual student to receive amazing results, check this video out right here. And of course, look, if you enjoy this video and want to join the channel, come and join the community by pressing that subscribe button right here. But until next week, have a great golfing week.